The first line of action I'm going to do is to create a new file within our SRC folder called validation.js. This class is going to contain all the validation methods we want. Let's start with required validation. I'm actually creating a new constant called required validation that is going to accept the value, which is going to be the value we want to validate. And this is going to return is valid, which must either be true or false, and a message. This is going to be the message we give the user when our form is invalid. The message I'm going to give the user is feed is required. There are different methods to validate if a string is empty, but the simplest one I'm going to go with is this. If this string is empty or it is filled with white space, it is going to return false. Let us create another validation called the minimum length validation. This method is going to be different because apart from taking the value we want to validate, it is also going to take another parameter which will be used to validate the imputed value. We need to check the value .length and be sure that it is greater than or equals to the minimum length parameter that we pass. The message feedback we are going to give our user must be at least minimum characters. Back to our app.js, I'm going to import minimum length and required validation from .validation. I'm going to create a new key called validations, which is going to accept an array, and that array can contain any of these validation created in our validation.js class. For the name field, let us say it is going to take the required validation. Back to the password, let us say it's going to take the required validation. It's also going to take a minimum length 5. So we have set our validation in place. All we have to do is go to the use form.js class and handle this validation. I'm going to create a function to set validation errors, which I'm going to pass the new fields into, and I will also make sure that the function returns the new field so it can have the updated new field before setting the values. I'm going to paste the function here and explain what it does. So the first thing is the set validation errors function expect the fields. We use the object.keys to loop through the field, and for each field it is going to append a new key called errors. These errors can either be an array of error messages or an empty array. We're actually running individual fields into this error for field function. We need to create the error for fields function, which I'm going to paste there and show us what is being done there. The first thing is that the error for field takes the individual field as a parameter, which means that the error for field is going to take just this, and inside the error for field we are referencing the validations key here, which is going to contain the validation functions. For name it is required validation, for password it is required validation, and minimum length validation. It is going to loop through those validations. This validation, for example, under name is required validation. So look at this thing as required validation. We then pass the validation the value that is being entered into the input. And remember what we said in the validation: if it is not valid, return false, and the message field is required. For any validation, whatever is returned will either be true or false for is valid and a message. The next line, check if this thing is true, which means that it is valid, return an empty string. If it is not valid, return the message. Whenever we use map over an array, it is going to return a new array. And from the explanation earlier, this array is going to return arrays of error messages or an empty string. What we are doing on the next line is to filter through this return array, and everyone that had a value of length greater than 0, which means at least there is one error, it is going to return this back to the error for field, which means that for every field we are going to have a key errors, which can either be nothing or an array of messages. When I navigate to the browser and fill just the name input, then I click submit without filling the password input. When I expect the name input, I'm going to see that the error key has an array of 0. Also, when I look at the password input, I'm going to see that it has 2 error messages. Field is required, must be at least 5 characters. Also, when I put 3 characters and click submit, I'm going to see that it is only 1 this time around, which is saying must be at least 5 characters. The validation is actually in place. We just need a way to display the validation messages, which is the feedback to the user, and also prevent the submit button until the form is valid. To add the feedback to the name input, we are going to confirm if the name input has error, and if it does, we are going to map through the errors and display the errors. We will also do the same for the password input by copying that of the name input and changing the name respectively. When we navigate to the browser to fill the name input, it shows the validation error for password as well. We need to make sure we only show the error when a particular field is touched. To do this, we are going to add a new key to unchanged or touched, and we are going to set it to true. We are also going to check if name has been touched. We need to do the same thing too for our password input. We need to confirm if password is touched, and if it has errors, then we are going to display those errors. Let us head to the browser to test this. When I fill the name input and cancel what was entered, the field is required. That is validation error. Let me fill it, and when I go to the password input and type, it is going to tell me must be less than 5 characters when they are less than 5 characters. And when I clear everything, there is going to show the field is required for the password input.